Every song, bitch, let me get something that sucks. If I'm dancing, I live for this night.
I want to say I was here since day one, that I always knew it was going to be good. Because I kinda did.
My romance scammer. By the end of January 2025, gay marriage will be legal in Thailand, and GMMTV is already scamming motherfuckers. This kind of unserious chaos is exactly why this stupid company will always entertain me. Where else can you find something so ridiculous? To be serious for a second, it's amazing that the company's first show about queer marriage since legalization is so funny and completely its own thing. They've skipped the cautious let's ease into it phase, it's already normalized, and they're diving straight into nonsense. I don't think I'll actually like it, but I'm not really against anything in this trailer. The concept is hilarious, the acting is solid, and the cast is pretty. I'm kind of into it, but I don't think I'll love this. I'll watch my romance scammer for a good laugh, though I might end up laughing at it more than with it. Not sure yet, but I'm not completely out.
Back then, I knew I liked the concept of My Romance Scammer, but I really didn't expect the actual show to fully work for me once it became a real 12-episode series. Then when you add on top of that, the director attached to it, look, if you've watched my videos before, you already know I complain about New Siwat's work a lot. To be clear, I know he is not personally writing every line of dialogue or inventing these stories from scratch. Most BLs are adaptations, and these projects are collaborative efforts. But at the same time, the director is still the person shaping the final version of the story. A script is not a film or show. The director has to take that outline and turn it into something emotionally coherent with good pacing structure and vision. And for me, that has always been the issue with a lot of New Siwat projects. They usually start strong, then completely lose focus somewhere along the way. The pacing falls apart, emotional moments stop hitting as hard, and the transition from novel to television becomes a mess. Now, whenever I see his name attached to something, I go in expecting that exact pattern. So while I was watching My Romance Scammer, I kept waiting for the moment where it would fall apart. But that never happened. At its core, My Romance Scammer is exactly what it says it is. Two rich heirs get married to scammers, and the story follows what happens when those lies start to unravel. That's the engine of the entire show. And surprisingly, it never stops being that. Every episode, every conflict, every emotional turn comes back to that same setup. Pai and North getting scammed, Tim and Yu being the scammers, the relationships forming in the middle of all that mess. That's it. That's the show. And what's interesting is how easy it would have been to turn this into something much bigger and much messier. The world is already set up for it. There's a powerful family empire in the background, an aunt clearly positioned with her own agenda, and Da-Jon sitting around as a potential rival heir. In another version of this story, especially the kind I would have expected from this director and his team, that all turns into a full second-half arc. Elaborate schemes, inheritance battles, more betrayals, characters suddenly fighting for control of the company. Even a Da-Jon and Pure Ship could have become like an F-plot. The show even kinda teases it in the smallest way, just a glance at the end, just enough to make you think, okay, this could be something thrown in last minute. But it never goes beyond a glance and lets the audience headcanon what could happen in the future in this universe if you want to do that. And that was the last little detail that proved to me this show knows exactly what it's doing. Those elements exist, but they're not treated like obligations. They don't compete with the main story. They don't pull focus away from it. They just exist in the background as part of the world. And because of that, nothing feels like it's fighting for attention, which brings it back to something very simple. This show is not really juggling 10 storylines. It's just telling one really interesting story. Mai, Pai, and North, romance, scammer, Tim and Yu. That's the structure. And what surprised me so much is how confidently it stays inside that space. It doesn't feel the need to constantly escalate. It doesn't keep introducing new conflicts just to maintain momentum. It just keeps digging into the same situation from different angles, letting the consequences of the scam naturally evolve the relationships. Even when new tension appears, it always feels like it belongs to the same original idea. Nothing feels imported from a different genre halfway through. They don't create drama out of nowhere for the sake of it. The main plot of the show is dramatic enough you can do so much with it, and they utilize it so well. And then, somewhere in the middle of all that, something else starts to form. The found family. It doesn't arrive with a big emotional moment or a dramatic turning point. It just happens slowly, until you realize these four people are constantly in each other's space, constantly involved in each other's problems. constantly becoming the only support system any of them really has. That's probably where the show ends up working best for me. The romance is fun, the scam plot keeps things engaging, but the real hook becomes watching Pi, North, Tim, and Yu slowly turn into a unit. Not two separate couples sharing screen time, but one shared chaotic life that they all get pulled into together. I'm a sucker for found family. It's so good in romances, oh my god. And this is exactly the kind of mess that makes it work. The bakery storyline is probably the clearest example of that shift. That stupid Lil Bakery. Pi getting disowned, North defending him and getting pushed out too. And Pi ending up at North's bakery already feels like the setup for something funny. Especially when you realize that bakery has basically been running on friendship, hope, and absolutely zero business strategy. No customers, no money, no future. Then Pi shows up and somehow turns it into a functioning business overnight.
I'm the baddest bitch. You thought that was something in the kitchen? Bitch, I mop hoes, especially a little bitch like Sarah. The fuck?
It's absolutely ridiculous and I love it. But it becomes the point where all their lives fully collide. Everyone ends up orbiting that space in some way. It stops being a flop bakery and turns into their shared world. That's when the show really sold me. I was more than halfway through and it was only getting better. It didn't need a massive dramatic turning point to sell me. Although you do get that in the series anyway in the inevitable exposure of Tim and Yu as scammers. But that completely makes sense. It's the entire plot of the show. It's not drama created for no reason. And I actually loved how the show handled that timing as well. Yu getting exposed first genuinely caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to happen so early, but it ended up being a really smart choice. It gives us time with North and Yu to sit in that fallout, to actually process what that betrayal means in a slower, more grounded way. Especially when they're the silly couple, that was such a good move to do that to them first. And at the same time, it builds tension for Pi and Tim, because that relationship is becoming more and more real, while sitting on top of a lie you know is about to explode. You already saw it with the other one. You get through their whole journey of healing, and you're just waiting for it to happen again, but it's gonna be even bigger. And when it finally does, it's so good. It doesn't even feel like a repeat of the same emotional beats. It feels like the story earned its structure. Even the family side of things feeds into this same idea. Pi's grandfather could have easily been written as another exaggerated obstacle. Instead, his role ends up feeling surprisingly grounded. He's not just reacting emotionally for the sake of drama, he actually wants to understand what's happening before deciding how he feels about it. That alone makes him stand out in this era of TV where most of the older adults are just used as walls for the main characters to bounce off with no substance of their own. Sorry, old man, for doubting you early on. You were actually wholesome. The parents, though, I'm still side-eyeing them. How are you gonna let the aunt be more perceptive than you? And that's where a bigger idea of the show starts to settle in. It keeps asking a simple question over and over again. Who is actually trying to understand these people, and who is just reacting to them? By the end of it, I didn't walk away thinking this was some huge, emotionally overwhelming drama. That was never the goal. But even the more serious beats land because they're still anchored in the same structure. The show never abandons what it is trying to be. What I did come away with was something much simpler. A show that understood its own limits, stayed inside them, and explored them completely instead of constantly reaching for something bigger. The funny thing is, because I enjoyed it so much, I actually wanted more episodes. More time with these characters. I was like, come on, the one time I want 16 episodes from Siwat, he doesn't give it to me. But that's exactly why it works so well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't stretch itself thin trying to become something larger than it needs to be. It leaves you wanting more because it already gave you so much. It commits fully to the premise. No detours, no distractions, no earth-shattering crisis halfway through other than the one that the whole show is about. Just my romance scammer doing exactly what it says in the title. And sometimes that's more than enough.